Legacy of Wisdom is a nonprofit project building a vision for best practices for living and fulfilling life's potential. While focusing on the last half of life, it remains applicable to all generations.
If I consciously were to go ahead and say, I would like to choose my lifestyle for the later years, what elements should I pay attention to?
Well, it depends on when you're starting to do this choosing. So let me cut right to the end and say something that maybe you don't hear every day. Like, it's totally clear to me that what I would like to be doing at the end is living with people of like mind and not just shuttled into some warehouse that's like God's waiting room with a random set of people and conditions. So perhaps that means now our generation needs to think about some kind of, I'll just throw out a word, tantric rest homes. Intentional, conscious assisted living. I don't want to use far and funny words that have many different associations like ashrams or communes and collectives, but like co-ops where people like us get together. And there are some efforts in this way to have it near campuses and so on, where people could walk to things and there's intellectual stimulation in the surround, in the community, not just in the facility.
Well, this is specifically what I'm talking about. If we're going to be able to design these kinds of things.
We need to be designing those now and moving towards them and thinking about funding and medical and the stages of eldering and aging and saging and degeneration and moving from collectives and communal to assisted living to nursing home to hospice. We need to build in hospice care at the end, and also I think exercise, all the things that we know about, we need to bring them together. Diet, so we're not just eating white bread and turkey sandwiches at Thanksgiving, like in some of the old age homes I've visited. It's very sad. And diet and health and workout rooms and pools and yoga classes and music and birthday parties and pets and visiting people and vegetarian and organic diet options and movement therapies like yoga and tai chi and singing and all the things that keep people alive. Even pets have been known to keep people alive. I also want to say that there's some gender difference to be considered in the old age home, because I sit with people who are dying often, being a Lama in the Tibetan lineage. Then I see some of this, more than average, I guess. In the end of their lives, the women are often in these places talking to each other and the men not talking. And that's not entirely by choice. The men don't know how to do that better and they're very alone. And then the women are squabbling because they don't know how to do it together, and then they end up like factionalized and cliquish. So a little bit of more thinking about this, about integrating the community and making these things work, it could be very supportive, I think. It's very easy to, if you have people to think about these things, whether it's budget or budget the time and energy to think about it, to, for example, have children and musicians and volunteers come in and give birthday parties with singing and art and music for the elders. Not all the elders have visitors and family anymore in these facilities, and it's very sad. And on the holidays, not everybody has a holiday. A lot of people hate the holidays because they're so alone. So there's a lot of room for candy striping, as we used to call it in the hospital, for volunteers, for people to bring their children or their pet, their dog. It's been researched and statistically shown that petting animals and being licked by animals helps people feel better, their moods raise, and live longer. And so all of these things could happen, as well as more interesting cultural activities could be mingled in, yoga for old people and water aerobics. And they don't all have to have 5-mile runs in the morning, let's be realistic. But there's a lot we could do. And let me say something else about the new times and the internet, our incredible shrinking globe. Now, let's face it, not all of us are with the new technology, but plenty of grandparents I know are watching their grandbabies on Skype, where they have cell phones and so on, and they're videotaping. So there's plenty of opportunity for the old age facilities, whatever you want to call them, conscious aging facilities, senior communities, to be very wired and online. and have online activities and be beamed in. Whether it's intake, like lectures and teachings and shows and entertainment, where it's participatory, where it's educational, all these things, where it's family oriented, or it's games playing, all of this could be possible so that elders could use their time as like ashram time. Traditionally in the old world, the older years was a time to think about God, the afterlife, and the next life. We're a little lacking at this in the elder model here in this country. And there's something missing there. So maybe it could be elder ashram time, elder spiritual time, elder sacred time, elder deepening, aging and saging time that we could enrich. We're bringing in a lot of things through the internet. And in the end, that's very low technology, low cost, a lot better than medical interventions and drug interventions for their sinking moods and energy. And people can connect and also make new friends and be part of virtual communities and get educated, entertained, and edified.
If you still have your mind.
That's a big supposition. Yes.
Even now.
Even now. So what we should do, what we can to have our mind as long as we can. Keep learning and keep growing, and maybe put into your diet some antioxidants and some fish oil, and you ask what we could do. It's not just, wait and see what happens. We can take preventative measures now. It would be very helpful. Yoga, the health yoga of a well-rounded and grounded, wise living.
Obviously, most people don't do that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But on the positive side, there's a tremendous awareness awakening now, especially in our country, about better eating, about better exercise, about our sleep deprivation patterns, and so on. So people are thinking about that. We've mostly gotten rid of cigarette smoke in public places. So some of these things are coming. America is exercising more, I think. I don't know if it's drinking alcohol less. It is exercising more. And we may be eating better. I don't know. I don't study this. There's a lot more whole and natural and organic foods available and knowledge about it. And the vegetarianism and other healthy things. There are. And it's not seen as very eccentric or weird. So you can go to any restaurant today and pretty much get what you want and need according to whatever your diet is. This is progress.
Thank you.